All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Another episode of the Always Chillin' Podcast. Skinny D and the Sandman here in the barbershop with a special guest this week. I got one of Damon's friends from back in the day. I'll let you make your introductions and ask what you want to ask, talk about what you want to talk about. We've been talking a lot before the show, and I think it's going to be a pretty good one, actually.
Shit, no, I'm what? Shit, what? I'm 47. You what?
46.
Shit, probably 40. Probably close to 40 years.
Shit, yeah.
Starting junior high. I went to
Junior
color, but a lot of family members. I grew up around with the Malone Center.
Malone Center.
And just T-Town in general, or
Detention Center.
Attention Center
Locked
for
up
youth.
in that motherfucker.
Yes, D&E.
D&E.
It's just we slept on the floor in D&E.
Yeah. We did cross paths in
for like
D&E, didn't we?
2 months we was on the floor in D&E together.
Yeah. In the boats.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is Brian, and Damon's known him a really long time. So, I don't know. I'll just let you get into it, man. What do you?
Introduce yourself, man. Tell us your story, man. I like a dope story. I like that success shit.
Yeah.
I don't call it really a success. I just, it's just my life. My name is Brian Green. I'm 46 years old. I'm from Lincoln, Nebraska. Currently, I work at Kawasaki. I'm a welder. I've been out there about 5 years. And I'm from the streets. I grew up out here. My term for it ever since I was probably 16, 17 is that I was in the wind. Because I just went where the breeze went. I grew up a lot of, I'm out here. Everybody knows me.
Right.
If you're in your late 30s, 40s, we cross paths. I don't know, man. I always used to tell myself I got the short end of the stick and whatever, by running the streets. Always been kind of more independent. Didn't really stay in one little group for too long. I just jump around. I had my day ones, Torian Smith, rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
And some other cast, I'm from 29th to Star Street.
Hood, north side.
Yep. 29th to Star. My grandmother, she moved to 22nd and Y probably about 77.
Man, y'all stayed in the heart pretty much the whole
we
time.
was over there, went to color junior high,
The infamous two hallway school. We
Yes,
were on
sir.
school. We just had two hallways, no
Yep.
stairs. It was
Nope.
just one flat
Really?
school. Yeah,
Damn,
man.
that'd be crazy, man. I can't even
across
imagine.
the street, it was a whole different world. You got the Shield,
The Shield.
the
I was more of a Malone kid.
Malone Center.
Yeah.
And there was that other one, Easter Day Rec Center.
Yeah.
And then they do things over here too, at this school.
They had the Boys and Girls Club.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
lap Lincoln Action Program.
Yeah. Take us swimming and shit. They
Yep.
would take us swimming in the wintertime and
Yep.
shit.
Yep.
Shit was real dope.
That's
Indoor
cool.
swimming pool.
Yeah,
Nothing,
that's
we
cool.
little hood motherfuckers.
Yeah.
We ain't never seen this shit ever before.
Walk in the building and it's like 85 degrees and humid.
Like,
Like,
in
oh, yeah.
3 feet of snow outside. We looking out the window and shit like
Trying to
this
drown each other in the pool.
This shit is dope. Yeah, I remember that shit.
Yeah, I wouldn't say my life was rough. It just, I didn't have no responsibilities for so long. I didn't have my first son until I was 24 years old.
Oh shit, yeah.
So,
It was pretty much just you.
yeah, I was 16. When I was 16, I was in a group home and I ran away and I had robbed an older gentleman and the police caught me and I got an adult charge for armed robbery, use of a weapon, committed felony, and a burglary. My dad, he is fresh off a pretty long prison stint, and he paid for me a lawyer where I didn't lose the convictions, but I just didn't go to the Department of Corrections. I went to YDC instead.
Yeah, that's
Kearney.
Okay, I never went
And
to
back then,
Kearney.
it's YRTC.
More of a prison style for
No,
you.
now it's all circled around treatment and stuff like that. Because when we was coming up in the 90s, if you couldn't fight,
You wasn't gonna make it.
oh, you had to make it because you was gonna be there for 6 months regardless. So you was gonna learn to fight.
Yeah, I
Or,
heard about the
you
what
know,
was the check system.
Yeah. Oh, and when you're laying on your back and you've been talking shit in a circle for about 12 hours, and these guys ain't been able to go outside or get on the phone or
Because
watch
of you.
TV, because I'm being ignorant. I'm being an ignorant adolescent teenager. We've been in this circle, and everyone wants to go home, but then and the staff would walk and be like, "You gonna really let them mislead your group like that?" And then walk over to the other guys. He's just like taking all your time up. And I walk around, and then next thing you know it, a kid gonna jump and hit you in your mouth.
So this is true about this place.
Swear
All
to
the
God.
homies that I
Swear to
knew
God.
that
Swear to God.
that went to Carney and
Swear to
shit.
God.
Like
that's-
the
and to
staff would be
honest,
like, "Yo,
the
you
staff
better
will instigate you.
whoop this motherfucker's ass."
There's
That's
a
fucking
certain
crazy.
group in there, and they were kind of like the middle size. You know, they weren't like, because you get like A Company. They were more like the big wigs. You had a lot of the OGs from Omaha, Garfield.
Very militarized, bro. Very
and
the
they
way
had
the way the shit
A1,
was.
A2, A3. You walked in double lines. You had to carry big ass laundry baskets down to the laundry room every week to do your laundry and stuff. But it was a decent program back then. But you know, they kind of let us govern each other. Okay, you keep fucking with us, we just gonna jump you in here. We're gonna put you down. You're gonna place your problem in check. He's gonna do it. We're gonna get back in here. Then he's gonna hit you. Then he's gonna hit you. Then he's gonna hit you. And we're gonna go in a circle. And then we're gonna get up and go to bed. You know, and they had riots there when I was up there. You know,
One of the other homies, he was there. He tried to run, like he ran, and the staff allowed the group to chase him down and whooped his ass.
For real?
Yeah, I was
Damn.
like, I was so scared of Carney,
it
man.
was-
I was
it
like,
was-
I'm not going to Carney, man.
And this is like juvie?
Yeah,
Like
in the 90s.
juvie, yeah, in the 90s.
late 80s,
What
early
the fuck?
90s. Yep.
LCC.
And there was a riot?
Yeah,
Yep.
bro.
They were just tuning you up for LCC.
Just tuning you because that
They were
was your
just tuning your motor so you're
what was
on
it?
go when you get to
Midnight on your 18th birthday. You're going to fucking LCC.
yeah.
No
Yeah.
shit.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
if you're
damn.
convicted. See, I
If
was
you're convicted.
I was one of one of two youth in there that was convicted as an adult, but sent to YDC instead, because it was Youth Development Center when I went.
Right.
Now
right.
it's Youth Rehabilitation Treatment Center now.
Right.
So
right.
and then they had Geneva back then. They closed Geneva down, I think. And then so Carney wasn't. It opened your eyes more. Me being from here, and I didn't know about Omaha. It was Big Bad Omaha, you know. Back
Right.
when I was 14 to 15, you know. So that rivalry really didn't kick off with, you know,
Not
my
yet,
circle.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. I
time.
mean, it was probably still going, but it just wasn't, you know, at that moment.
Right.
And then it opened my eyes up there, and then I see how it started. But I'm cool. You know, I can go anywhere. So, you know, I got a lot of good friends up in Omaha. You know, that's came from nothing. So
Right.
plus
right.
my brother, you know, he lives in North Omaha right now. He's got himself he's in a relationship, and
Yeah, I think Omaha gets a bad rap. Omaha's a
they
good
do.
city.
I mean,
It's
you
a
go to
good city.
one-
If
you
you're
go- you
looking
go to
for the
certain-
shit, you're gonna find the
yeah,
shit
yeah,
wherever
yeah.
you fuck. If
Oh,
you
yeah.
want that shit
yeah.
from
yeah.
Bakersfield, California to Brooklyn, New York, the shit is there if you want to look for that shit.
Only
Other-
is the same way. It's just we a little more quiet about it.
Just be a little more quiet
We're a
about
little
it.
quiet about it.
You know what I'm saying? After, I think I kind of,
See,
I had kids early, so we kind of lost track. Probably about what, high school?
yeah,
I remember seeing you around and shit, but I was on my bullshit. I was in and out of the penitentiary.
different circles too.
Different circles. We went with different
Yeah,
circles.
just same spots because Lincoln's so small. Coin fund,
Right.
You know, coin fund.
Right.
Migos across the street. You know, they had that little youth club for a little while back in like '96. You know, so I mean,
Shut that motherfucker down.
fast as hell.
Fast as fuck.
The problem is you know, you come up, and I think it was because some Omaha youth came up here, and they don't realize about us Lincoln, like we don't have neighborhoods.
We don't.
We don't, and
don't.
we all grew up together.
We know somebody knows
And
somebody
somebody's
one way or
related.
the and
Everyone's related.
Somebody gonna be
Yeah,
related.
and it's just like, you know, we've been fighting each other for so long. When you come down here and talk, it's just like, you know, I mean,
I remember as far back as 89, 90,
yeah,
91.
Yeah.
Playing basketball and shit. You know,
Yep.
we would go up there. And
That was
play.
high school, though.
Yeah, I would go up there and play. I'll be like, you know, so yeah. That's probably about my first experience, 89, 90 with that bullshit.
it is what it is, though. I
It
mean,
is. It is.
It's like that in every state too, you know. So, but there's you know, a lot of situations. I was in Kearney for about 2 years, and then I got out, and let's see, I was like 18. I just ran around, you know, smoking weed, you know. Wasn't really getting in no trouble because you know, just when I first started, actually had a job. I was working at Burger King on
Right.
27th Street, you know, and kind of stayed out the way. I dabbled in different kind of drugs and stuff, and then family members, you know, probably I want to say roughly around 97, 98. Um, crack hit Lincoln
Hard.
hard, like crack hit Lincoln ridiculous. It was like we didn't have it to. Everyone was smoking crack.
Everybody.
People's mamas,
Sisters.
How'd that happen? You think?
out of town people moved
Yeah,
down here
like
'cause it's a good life.
Yeah, like where did it come from?
80, like crack from. I go a little further. I remember it a little further, probably about where I knew what was going on, about 88. Where I would walk down the street, you know what I mean? Like we didn't call it trap house, you know, it was crack house.
It was open air back
yeah,
then.
and you knew
it was
motherfuckers
open
in
air.
line
You
and
had the
shit.
alley
You
behind
like,
Grandpa's Ribs. You had 24th and W.
Like
you know,
damn.
I had home, because I was in a little circle of cast, man, and the homeboys. I never sold crack. I there's some about like I seen that shit, and and for one, I'm from around the way.
Right.
95% of my friends are African American. I support big black business in Lincoln because I am a part of this.
Guilty by association.
I ain't guilty at all. I'm proud of that shit. I'm innocent.
Word up. Word up.
These are my people. Period. Some of us didn't like each other coming up, but we're all we're old men now. We
Yeah, you shouldn't still be
we over the
harboring those
hump.
kinds of feelings
You
at
know?
all.
Oh, I mean, I got some man. I mean,
Shouldn't at the
one
age
of my
we're at
homeboys,
right
his
now.
oldest brother, we hated. We was like mortal enemies in a video game for like when did beef start? I don't even know when that fucking beef started. It just it's
Don't even
and we
remember
ran
that
into
shit.
each other. We ran into each other at the U stop one day, and then we stood outside and talked for like 45 minutes. And I was just like, "You blow?" He was like, "Yeah, I blow." I'm like, "Shit, man, you gotta go get some cigars." And then after that, we hung out for like a couple months. He found out that I was into the music scene and shit. Yeah, I mean, I love my city, man. I've lived other places.
Yeah,
I lived in
crack,
Quincy, Illinois.
crack toward this motherfucker.
But I mean, it's not like some cities you go to, there's that black haze around it. I'm from here, so I know how to move around this place.
Right.
I have a lot of friends that took shit and made it sugar, business owners, and I fortunately
Lincoln's an easy place to make that happen.
Yes.
But you gotta have the fortitude. You gotta be consistent with that shit.
Yep. And I mean, it's like you and the other barbershop over on the north side, Urban, Josh Vincent, the Vincents and stuff.
Oh yeah,
they got their
young
barbershop
homie.
too.
Yeah.
And Los and them working there. So
Yeah,
and the South Street too, another one that cast we grew up with. And there's other businesses around here I support. That. I grew up with the cast, street vendors, stuff like Fly Dogs. We grew up with him lightweight. I used to go buy it.
I remember him vaguely.
Yep. So I mean, it is what it is. I mean, after all that happened, I was out and about. I had my first son about 24 years old. Well, I got into the music scene for a while. When I had first got out of state prison, and I had learned how to make beats, and then I ran into an old mutual friend. And he rapped, and it was when it started. You had groups like Unique Attraction.
Yeah, well, that's why. Mike Lee and all them. Yeah.
And you had the Black Shirts.
My cousin them.
Who else? Quincy Q. He had a couple really good albums out. I used to go to Easter Day Rec with him.
Whatever happened to the other white dude, Milk?
Milk?
You didn't know Milk?
You talking about M80?
He might have changed his name. His name was Milk. He went by Milk.
There was I came up with cast. They were called Underground Recording.
Okay.
Jay West, Travis Steefer, two young cats from the Highlands. They called themselves Escrow. Matt, and the other one was Joey Navis. They had some serious business going on in that basement and just didn't get really too much play. And when I'm telling you it was some serious business, it was some serious business. And then around that time, because I was interested in the music, I was hustling a little bit here and there. I had my little spurts, and then my addiction would take over, and then I stopped. I was still young, so I kind of knew how to put it down at that time.
Right.
So my baby mama got pregnant, and I'm like, bet. I'm 24, okay, so I've been to prison once, got a little job. And, during that 9 months of me doing the Lamaze and being there with my kid's mom and stuff like that and not being a POS,
Right.
like everyone expected me to be.
Right.
You ain't gonna be nothing, Brian. You better not have kids. Them kids would have been abandoned, Brian. You're gonna be in prison forever, Brian. You gonna be dead, Brian. That's all I was always hearing. So my son, I got a son coming, So I used to go to the studio every night about midnight and be over there till about 7 in the morning, listening to this dude mix and master his music. And that's kind of what planted the bug in my ear. And during that time, I was just gathering little equipment in here, little cheap equipment, $35, $45. It really wasn't much, but it was teaching me the craft. And then it opened up, and I released a mixtape.
I remember
Did a
that.
show.
I remember that.
I did a show.
I remember you rhyming.
And then September 24, 2005, I got indicted for conspiracy to distribute a controlled substance.
So you was hustling.
Yeah. Well, no, I had stopped for like 2 years. I had a job. My second son was born. I was like 28. I was 28 when they came and got me.
How that happened for you?
Huh?
How that happened for you?
What do you mean, the time?
No, I mean the indictment. Had they been watching you?
Nope.
They just came and got you.
7 people told on me.
Oh yeah. That
Damn.
And you can't win.
you can't win. What was that shit called, man? So many
Conspiracy.
motherfuckers conspiracy. They needed a certain amount of people to say, yeah, I got it from you.
Bye-bye.
That was it.
Ray
Yeah.
Ray. Ask Ray
You
Brown.
were missing like
And then
motherfuckers walking down the street. They
That's
was
what
like,
made it federal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just
Everybody went to the
7
States.
to 10 people. I've heard 7, 10. As long as it was
had
that
6
many
people.
people.
6 people hit me.
Damn.
And I went and did my time in the United States Penitentiary in Atlanta, Georgia.
Damn.
And I didn't leave. I did my whole bid in that prison.
Yeah, ain't no parole on that shit.
No, I mean, I could have came back, but I was comfortable. It was, I'd been there for so long. I don't get visits, no way. Ain't none of my family going to drive to Leavenworth or Indiana or something. So I'm down here in Atlanta. I got good radio. For one, I got good radio,
That's a big deal.
It was wide open. It was wide open. And it wasn't racist. For it being in Atlanta, you think it'd be all bars and stars and swastikas over here and crazy. It wasn't even. We didn't even have blacks could live with whites, and this was in a penitentiary. This wasn't in a medium or a low.
Whoa.
Wow.
Only difference it would make is if we was different gangs.
Of course.
But I mean, now you get the white power guys and stuff but they piped down because the white boys was independents in there, and we didn't tolerate no white power gangs on that yard. We ain't doing that racist shit. 85% of this whole facility is African American. We in the heart of Atlanta, Georgia. This prison is right downtown. You got Thomasville Projects on one side, you got Edgeville Projects on the other side, and you got a 60-foot wall around you. It's and it's huge. Like
Big compound.
It's huge. You could walk around here and get lost.
Damn.
So
That's crazy.
and some very good dudes out there. I met Nicky Scarfo there.
Damn.
Like I was in D1 for like 3.5 months, and I lived right next door to Nicky Scarfo.
Yeah, the penitentiary. You'll meet somebody. You'll definitely meet.
I mean, in Atlanta, there's probably some real motherfuckers in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
The drummer for Kool and the Gang, he was doing a 30-year bid in there. He would
Damn.
not. He would not.
What? No, what? Wait.
Yep. The drummer from Kool and the Gang was
drummer
in there.
from Kool and the Gang.
And he would not play drums for nobody but the heavy metal people. Because he had that footwork. It was his workout for the double drum beat and stuff like that. Fast.
Oh,
And
shit.
look, he's
The
a
drummer
platinum
from
selling
Kool and the
artist,
Gang.
you know.
You know what I'm saying?
He's a so they was like they would pay him. The white boys would pay him. The heavy metal white boys to do shows, they would pay him. So he'd be like in every
Shit.
show doing their drums, like a heavy metal dude, like professional and shit, because that's the dude from Kool and the Gang.
That's wild as fuck.
That's
Kevin
fucking
Bacon's
crazy.
dad was up in there.
What?
Dude,
Yeah,
prison's
his
crazy.
dad was in there. Tupac's dad was in the hole. When T.I. got indicted, when he got caught with them guns during the award show,
Right.
I was working plumbing, and I had to go down there and fix his toilet. That motherfucker like this tall.
Yeah.
He talk all that big. He about this big. He about as this look like T.I. What's up, T.I.? You know,
I remember seeing T.I. at a
sitting in a little
concert
corner.
in Denver years ago. You know, I was on my bullshit, my thug and shit, and I'm looking at this little motherfucker like, man, I'll beat your ass and take everything you got
DDT
on
you.
you. This dude's this big, man. Like, man, I'll try your little ass. All that tough shit you talking in your shit.
Yeah, I mean, and Atlanta was interesting because I tell people this story all the time when I was up in there, and there's this old cat named Buck. He's from the SWATs in Atlanta, Georgia,
Right.
Southwest Atlanta Territories. And then I had another friend. He was from Smyrna. I was real close to. His name was Slim. I worked Unicor. I learned how to sew. I actually had a 40-hour week job, and I was making about $400 and some a month. And I paid my way to get in there. I can slip and slide a little bit, and with it being Atlanta, I was like, oh, what's up with the affirmative action? I don't see too many white guys up in that motherfucker, man. Come here, I got a little soul in me, and it got me in. I talked to the right person. I said, look, man, I'll give you like 2 of my checks, man. I'll give you like 2 of my checks. I don't get money no way, so it ain't gonna affect me to be broke for a couple months more. I'll give you 2 of my checks. Let me get into Unicor. He said, okay, because I pay him $200 pretty much just to give me a job, And because I was quiet, I was in a whole new environment. I was down south, Mind I got big 6-point stars on me. I got some pitchforks on me and stuff. And I get down there, the politics are different,
Yeah.
I mean, and it's federal prison,
Right.
And I just got down there, the guys met me. Atlanta was just so wide open, so much money, they just so didn't care, And I mean, there were stabbings, people got beat up,
It's the joint. It's still the
paperwork
joint.
was hot.
It's still the
Had to
joint.
go, I mean, it happened, but
more like NSP
prison.
versus
No, it
Tecumseh,
was a
where
lot worse than NSP. buddy.
NSP would probably be the calmer prison.
Yeah.
Where Tecumseh is.
I mean, but I got out of this old man Buck. He looked at me. He said, "Brian, when you go home, you just go to work. You mad at the world, you go to work. You don't pick up drugs again. You don't sell drugs ever again. You go to work. You mad at your girl, you take your ass to work. Your girl slept with someone else, go to work. And it's kind of like, since I've been out of federal prison, I never had a job before there in the Unicor. And then when I got out, every job I had, it's about 3.5 years each one. I went to work. That's the one thing that I learned when I got out is I had to go to work. And I have never sold drugs since I've been out of federal prison. I refuse. I refuse it. Now, was I an addict? Yeah. But I didn't hustle. So that was just my biggest thing. And I stuck to it, I might have been out there, but I suffered for addiction for 20 plus years.
Yeah, you mentioned when that started for you. What was going on in your world at that time?
It was like 2013, 14. My aunt had passed, and my dad had passed, like damn near back to back. And state took Byron from me. He had got in trouble and they took him, So, and it was like
the son you had custody.
It was like a Kearney situation,
okay.
Like he was going to go to Kearney, but he went to Clarinda, Iowa, at their little academy they got down there. He went down there instead, and that's like a 2-year program. And then I just started using from my aunt passing and my dad going. My dad died from cancer, and my aunt, she died from addiction, and yeah, I mean, I went back to what I knew, man. It's just I was using drugs, I didn't have nobody that relied on me no more. And that was another sense with my son being gone. I was just like, my girl left me, I was, and it happened like in 2 months. All that happened in like 2 months. You can't do that to somebody like me, you gotta like spread it out a little bit. But but unfortunately it's life, I started using, and I made the first attempt to go to treatment. I remember that very, very first attempt I made to go to treatment. I left like 2 days later, came back, my whole apartment was gone. The shit was locked. Everything of mine was gone. I had like an outfit, and I had a whole house. I had my son living with me. My girl was living with me, so I had like a home. and everything was gone. I was just
Damn.
like, God damn, they stole everything, literally. Like all my old pictures from prison, letters from my grandma, my auntie, stuff like that. All that shit was gone. I was just like, oh fuck, you know. But I just, you know, it was that was my reasoning of going back out. And this time I say, you know, I'm just gonna be a goddamn drug addict. You know, I just hated myself so much at that moment that because I had made everybody eat their words for so long by having custody of my son and being there and being present and being active in my son's life every court day, every PTA, every meeting with the counselor. And mind you, my son's got ADHD and he is
Dealing with
you're
that.
not going to push my son around because he's going to tell you about yourself, and then you can call his dad, and I'm going to tell you about you know, because I'm going to defend my son. I don't give a damn who you are. I'm not from Hastings, Nebraska, you know. And that was the first experience with my kid in school. I was Hastings, and they just couldn't handle him.
We talking about Hastings.
I had left Lincoln. I was staying in their little. They got like a mission up there. It's a good facility, you know, and I had actually didn't use for like 30 days, and I had a job talking to me, and then something happened, and I was just like, fuck all that, man. Just, you know, like that was my first brush with recovery. I was going to meetings, you know, and then like just one day I was like, it ain't gonna make no difference, and then I just went back out, and then just one night, I texted one of my homegirls, and she said, you don't need to be up there no more. I'm gonna get you a train ticket. And I came back to Lincoln, and I hadn't been to Lincoln probably in like 2.5 years, knowing that I'm home.
Right.
I looked and I was like, oh man, I'm home. And Terrell Farley was the first one to comment on it. He was like, he said, shit, ugly, stupid, ain't it? And I just started laughing about it.
Shout out to Terrell Farley, man.
Low key, man, Terrell's been very
He's doing great.
encouraging
Yeah.
with we have never really met person to person, but social media and the inbox, he has been very, very, very supportive of my recovery.
Good
a
dude.
lot.
Cool, man.
And he's kept it real. That's another thing I really admire.
Well,
about him.
I tell people that all the time, you know, and I've never been a judgmental motherfucker because I've been in and out of lockup and shit since I was 16. So I've never been like, oh, you a dope head or whatever. Some of the nicest motherfuckers I've ever met hid me out and fed me and shit. Might be in the other room, you know, doing a rail or hitting a ball or something. But you know, they helping me. They taking care of me. So I think, you know, addiction is what it is. But some of the dopest people you'll ever meet.
It's a crutch.
Happen to have an addiction.
And then I stayed homeless, you know. I went to the mission one time and I just peeped around it. I did, you know, a significant amount of years in Atlanta and in lockup. I didn't want to be. I'm not in trouble. I'm not gonna go into no lockup looking ass facility.
And a lot of people don't understand that.
And it's, man, I'm telling you, man.
People don't understand. I understand
grimy
that. I
back
understand
there.
that.
You know,
Yeah.
To still be, in a lot of ways, dictated, because first you got to be sober to be in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if somebody's, you know, 20, 25, 30 years into their addiction, motherfucker, what?
You ain't sober.
You know what I'm saying?
Nobody's sober in there, you know?
Right.
I mean,
and then to be dictated, and you know what I mean, they still dictating you in there, you know. So I understand. I hear a lot of homies tell me, you know, they can't.
I got this thing with drunks. I don't drink. I'm drinking. I mean, I used to hear beer, shot, you know, little, but I never. Once I hit probably like 37, I just couldn't even stand the smell of that shit no more.
Really, that's interesting.
Like I get around, you know, my biggest pet peeve: ratchet white girls drunk. So I mean, it's just like and you go to the club and it's nothing but that.
Yeah.
So
True
I'm
that.
just gonna stay home and roll a blunt. And yeah, I mean, addiction. It was just I stayed out here. I stayed at the University Place parking garage on the 6th floor. It's just a little box on the top. It's the top of the parking garage, and it's just it's probably about the size of the shop. And you got to plug in, and it's warm. It's warm in the winter, and it's cool in the summer. And it's really, when the cops are coming, you hear the dings, because they're only gonna come at about 3:34 in the morning. So when you hear them dings in the elevator, you get up, grab your shit, and you just like hit the garage and go across and hit the stairwell and go down, bounce out. I never got arrested for sleeping in none of the parking garages in Lincoln. I always seen people, but there was alcoholics. So when you fall out when you're alcoholic,
And probably acting ass too.
and acting and see, like there was a couple times I got caught. And dudes, I was like, all right, cool. Hey, man, I gotta get a cigarette though, bro. I'm just sleeping here because it's warm. Let me plug in my shit,
Right.
And everything was clean. Like, they'd be in there tearing that shit up.
Right.
But, and I think I slept in them garages for probably about 9.5, 10 months.
No shit.
I wasn't disrespectful about it. Like, some of the guys, the attendants there, they would just wake me up. All right, man, it's time to go. People going to work, bro. All right, bet. And they'd give me a couple cigarettes. And then I walk over here to the university, and there was a guy that I kind of grew up with. We kind of knew each other, didn't really, but we kind of knew each other. And he used to give me a free coffee while I watched the news every morning sitting in the university. I didn't look like a bum because I was a booster. So, I wasn't dirty and shit because I boosted. So, I mean, it was just, I didn't sell drugs, and which is, I went to prison for no reason, for no reason.
A lot of people did.
And I helped out so many people. I'm not selling dope no more. You ain't dragging me back in that pit, crabs in the barrel, because you don't want to get out of that. You don't want to go to work. Oh, you homeless. I ain't dealing dope, But, or you using, you got me. I got to come to you too, I'm sorry, man. Let me get a little fatter, But, keep pushing, yeah. And then just one day, I used to go to Matt Talbot Kitchen Outreach a lot
Right.
to eat, and it's another guy like from back in like the early 2000s when I caught my fed case. He was past client, well, he was going through treatment for his umpteenth time, and he was in a transition house, and he was like, hey, man, just what's it going to take for you to get straight? I was like, a roof.
That was it. Just a roof. That was it for you.
Roof. Somewhere to stay, and they ain't gonna. Boy, I don't steal nothing from nobody. I steal from the stores.
Because you had been homeless for how long?
About 3.5, 4 years.
Wow, bro. Wow.
Jeez.
Wow.
In the winter, well, about 3 years, 2.5, 3 years, something like that. And don't, I'm a good dude. I don't steal from my friends. I stole from the stores. That was I was a crackhead.
They can replace that
I was
shit.
a crackhead with morals. They got insurance for that
They
shit.
can replace that shit.
I give the floor walkers boy, I give them the blues up in there. Man.
In there, sweeping their ass.
I'll have them chasing me for like. I'll have them chasing me for like an hour in that motherfucker, and then I'll just dump everything, and I just walk out. What's up, man? Hey, man, I don't know what you're talking about, bro. And I keep on, and they just look at me. I'm like, dude, you touched me, man. I'm screaming this motherfucker, man. And they just leave you alone. I was like, you didn't call me with nothing. Because I was one on one. I walk in like this, and I just get a backpack filled up and walk the fuck out, So when they catch me, when did you see me with a backpack? You didn't see me walk in this bitch with no backpack on. You see me walk out with nothing. They just look at me like. And now the same one, he works in there. He sees me, and he knows I can't go in that certain store, Lifetime.
Oh shit! Still,
how you doing, Green? I'm doing all right. He's like, I got chase you. I said, nah, bro. I probably got more money in my wallet
than you, motherfucker. Hell yeah.
Why you still here? But yeah. I mean, and then I met that guy at Matt Talbot, and I just signed up for these programs. I don't think I was looking. Man, I'm telling you, D, man, it was I was really fucked up back then mentally, and just in my head, and plus with the backstory of me having full custody of my son and me making, I'm that first year out of prison, working in Hastings. I think I made like $56,000 at that factory.
That's paper. Yeah, that's paper.
Man, dude, I remember doing
coming out the joint. Yeah, that's paper.
Right away.
Yeah.
I would go through my clothes and go in there and find a little thing of money. I'd find like $700. Like, but I didn't do nothing. There's nothing to do up there.
Nothing to do. Prison teaches you to be frugal. And you forget. It's almost like you forget how to spend money.
I mean, I was smoking trees and stuff, but I wasn't going out. There's really nothing to do.
I'm still on penitentiary time,
Yeah,
dog.
I
I
mean,
still wake up. You know what I
pay
mean?
bills. I pay all these bills in this house. I'm enjoying it.
You did.
I'm gonna
You
lay in my
did.
bed.
We've talked about why. Well, I hate
Yeah.
leaving my I don't like leaving the crib.
My house is my
for
favorite
what?
place to be, man.
Favorite place to
Everything's
be.
here.
Yeah.
Everything's here. You know, I got a garage and I got me a little shed in the back. I got my
Backyard.
basement, whole front yard. Got my dog. You know, it is. You know, but I signed up for these programs, and you know, all the numbers go to grandma's house because grandma let me come over every couple of days so I can shower and shit. You know, grandma let me keep some clothes there too.
Grandma
You know,
love.
that
Yeah.
grandma would take. She would get the business from the family about it too, and she was just like, okay, you know. I knew I had my certain times I could sneak in the crib, take a shower, get something to eat, sit and talk with her, watch a couple shows, Bonanza, and maybe some WCW wrestling. Always wrestling though. It just couldn't be Monday nights because that's when some of the family come over and watch and they catch hell about it.
Right.
And it was at night, so Auntie wasn't there. You know, Auntie see me and it's just like you know. So it was a duck and never could stay the night. Every once in a while I could if it was like really brutally cold or raining or something, and it happened, but it wouldn't. It up and go. I get up and leave, you know. So for longest, you know, when I was out there, she helped me. And I signed up for these programs, and it was one of them days. It was, I don't know, like a Tuesday at like 10:30 in the morning. You know, I'm fixing a bowl of cereal. I just got out the shower. The rule was I couldn't be fucked up when I came to grandma's house.
Right.
You know, and you know it was just understood. It didn't even have to be said. I'm not gonna be fucked, and I'm not bringing nothing in this house. You know, and that was I leave that shit outside. You know. And 9 times out of 10, I'd only go over there when I was straight. And you know, it wasn't happy because I wasn't going in there with nothing.
Word.
Disrespect grandma. That door's always open.
Word.
You know, every important piece of mail went to her house, not my mama, her house. You know, so phone rang. They asked for me. That's a big no-no. You don't give out grandma number unless it's important.
Right.
You know, phone rang. Brian, it's for you. I pick up the phone. He's like, hey, my name is Clarence Grundahl. Plug out. I'm Clarence Grundahl, Substance Abuse Coordinator, Matt Talbot Kitchen Outreach, Lincoln, Nebraska. You're on top of my waiting list for my transition house. Okay. When can you come see me? I was like, man, I'm like 5 blocks away. 22nd and Y.
Okay.
You know?
Yep.
So I looked at my grandma. I said, I think I'm getting in a halfway house. I thought it was like a halfway house. You know, I never knew what a transition house was. You know, it's pretty much freedom. You know, to be honest with you.
Right. So it's
you got a curfew, but
like you can live in there.
Yeah, and my rent was $20 a month.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Shout out to Matt Talbot. They
Shout
got a couple
out to
houses
Matt
out
Talbot.
here.
Well, I was going to ask you between the difference between the Mission and Matt Talbot. Night and day, then.
I call it I don't knock the Mission. I'm just not familiar with them. You know, that's not my turf. My turf is, you know, the Shield,
right.
27th
It's
Street,
right in the hood.
Grandma's
Yeah,
house.
Yeah.
You know, well, my grandma's house was there, and that was my pit stop. So I always kind of stayed, and low key, man, I used to I used to stay in cubby holes too in apartment. You know how they have the little underneath the steps.
Sometimes
I
had the
would go
door
in
right there.
Well, I actually went and searched. I looked for an apartment. There you go. But I looked around town, and on like 21st and R, I found one that was empty, and it had been empty for like 2 weeks because I gotta go and look because I was just gonna post up. I find one of these motherfuckers in a nice place, and it's nice and warm in here. I'm just gonna post up, you know. And I did, and I lived in that bitch for probably 7 months. Damn. No problems.
Nobody knew.
Oh, people knew, but
knew.
I didn't cause problems. And matter of fact,
you alone.
Don't bring your ass over here looking in these cars, bro. You know, and on the streets, you know, I mean, I'm Brian Green, motherfucker. You know, everybody knows me. You know, don't fuck. He's crazy. You know, and I was in the wind, so you know, I was staying. Don't come around here breaking in these cars over here, man, because I stay over here, and if I lose my spot because you're dumbass, and you know, it is what it is, you know. So I mean, I was always in this area, so I stayed. And the Mission, like I said, I went in there at one time, and it just felt too institutional,
prison, jail, like.
And just like I said, I didn't really drink, and I didn't like the smell of alcohol, and that's mainly a lot of alcoholics. And you can smell it, and it just And I heard a lot of theft too. On top of that,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And I'm by myself. I don't like to be around too many people. Even still now, I could be in a room with everybody I know and still move around, and not really fuck with nobody. It's just
I
kind
can
of
dig that.
PTSD, I guess. I don't know. I mean,
Hey, welcome to the club, brother.
and I go to the house. I want to say it was June 8th, 2016. That was supposed to be my original clean date, and but I relapsed within 60 days of being in the house. They didn't kick me out. I was completely honest about it. You know,
The mission kicks you out, don't they?
well, I mean,
Or-
mission. I couldn't stay there, and it's just the alcohol, and it felt too. And they had a program going on with the people at the prison, and I just, and Matt Talbot's right there. I used to go there and eat, and there was a couple people I grew up with that worked there that was staff, so they talked to me.
Familiarity.
I can't say I was pushed up the line because I waited like probably a year to get into the house. A lot of majority of it is see, because I got an address. I got my grandma's address I can use. That was my.
They could find you.
Yeah, I got an address. I got a phone number for important people. So when you have those two things, you're not considered homeless. You're not considered. Some of these programs you got to be on the street for over a year, with like kind of like proof, like couch hopping, no address, no stuff like. I always had 2272 Y Street, in care of Evelyn Fields, so it always, that was the you can't get this stuff because you have proof of residence.
Oh shit.
I had proof of residence. No, this ain't proof. This is my grandmama house, man. I just had my important shit sent
Right,
here,
right.
It don't matter. You get mail sent there. You're a resident. So that was when all them laws got passed, the residency laws. If you stay, if I let you sleep on my couch, and I mean it's never gonna happen, but if I let you sleep on my couch and you get one piece of mail there, you got to go to the sheriff's office and file to kick me out of your own house.
Yeah. Squatter law and all that old shit.
Yeah. So I mean, you ain't gonna squat for long. I ain't going to the sheriff.
Get up out of here, motherfucker.
Gonna get up out of this motherfucker today. But yeah. I mean, so I got in that house. I had my little relapse, and then I just, my thing was I would always walk to my meetings. Probably for the first 9-10 months, I didn't really have nobody helping me when I hit that house, and I would walk, but it would be like my therapy. I would walk, have my headphones in, listen to music while I walk to my meetings, and when I leave, I wouldn't listen to nothing, and I just process what was going on. I told him, like, when I walked in, I did my interview, he said, what are you going to do if you come into my house? I said, anything you want me to do. I done tried it my way. Too many times.
Lay that all the pride
I guess
to
it
the
just
side.
don't work, Well, and another thing that kind of got my ass up on the fire is I went up to court because they would have like every 4 months I'd have a court date about my son because I hadn't lost custody. He was just in Clarinda, Iowa, in the boys' academy. I didn't know that they took my rights, that they didn't take my rights. I still had full custody of my son when he would get out. I didn't know that. No clue because I'm shooting dope, sleeping in alleys, eating at the soup kitchen, I went to court. I would always go to the court dates, though, and the judge leaned up and looked at me. He said, I'll give you your son back. Let the music resonate for a second. And I was thinking, and I was like, and then I was in the house when he said that. And then I had my first relapse too. And I just started, when I would leave the meetings, I would just not have no music on. And I just think about everything that went through my head. I wasn't on meds. Probably the biggest mistake I made during that time was I didn't take the chance to get on meds. I just finally decided I've been taking meds for about 90 days, and I feel fantastic.
Congratulations
I'm
on
not
that,
so
man.
heavy.
Being able to
good
recognize
stuff.
that in yourself.
And it's so I'm always man, if I
I damn sure
if I
commend you
fall,
for that.
I rub some dirt on it, drink, and it's gonna heal eventually. That's how I am.
That's how we were taught.
I don't
you
need
know?
meds. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna smoke 45 blunts in a row, and it'll numb the pain. It's still there. And then I just decided, I talked to my the nurse up there the day I got there, and I said, lightweight, not really into pills. She put me on 10 milligrams of Celexa. Since then, still kind of all over the
That's
place
good, man.
once in a while. But back to the Matt Talbot house, when he told me that, I blew like 7 bunch of tendons out of my ankle. My ankle was about this big, and I was hobbling around Lincoln. And
While you were homeless?
yeah,
Oh shit.
at the tail end,
Okay,
just
okay.
at the last month.
I mean, that's a long time.
But I blew like 7 tendons. They said,
Damn.
like, and my ankle was this big. Like my foot's messed up, but I'm flat footing this foot now. So,
Was
but
that injury from the
yep.
homelessness?
Well, I
Or you
can't
don't
tell
even
you.
know?
I don't
You
remember.
even know.
I just knew one day I woke up and my shit hurt, and
Damn.
it just it started off with a whole front of my foot. I look at some of my old Facebooks, previous Facebooks from when I was in addiction, and reading some of the posts on it. And I was just like, and I remember it sometimes. I'm like, oh my God, but when I got in the house, I think it took them like 3 months, and they got some kind of study through the UNL, and they did electroshock on my ankle, and it healed it. They gave me like a month later, my shit was working.
No shit.
Damn.
And right when I was like, and then I went to the doctor, and he cleared me for work, straight to advanced services, put in an application for Kawasaki. Kawasaki gonna hire you.
Yeah, off top.
You want a
Off
job?
top.
You want a job? You come out to Kawasaki.
Dumb, crippling, crazy.
And you
Can
know
you
what's
get to
crazy is
work?
you're gonna make about $20 an hour.
You gonna get that paper,
But bro, you're going to bed when you get home.
you can't spend it.
Everybody's mad when you go in there. Everybody's mad, and it's the new high school. It's another high school in Nebraska. It's not Lincoln High Northeast. It's Kawasaki. That's the
Right,
high school. So
right,
many babies
right.
been birthed because of Kawasaki.
Big families.
Big families. Let good times roll. I love you guys. But yeah. And they hired anybody. They hired me, and I went in there, and I told myself, I'm gonna get hired on this time. And they didn't even put me in welding that time. They just put me on the line. So, all the other times I go to welding, I learned how to weld at Northeast a little bit, and then at Kearney I learned how to weld.
Yeah, they had that in high schools for us back in the day. So
Yeah.
we all, if you're
And it was
40
MIG.
plus, you shouldn't
Yeah.
be able to do it.
I went in there, laid that line, and started working, and been out there, because Kawasaki was one of them jobs you could have like 9 times and walk out of, and they'll still take you back.
Yeah,
like
I heard
15,
they
20 times.
changed all that.
Yeah, they're kind of strict on that now. You got to have some kind of really solid reason, or they ain't gonna let you go out. I know some pretty good workers that can't come back out there, but it's unfortunately,
And you got to be pretty fucking A1 from day one to get that permanent position. Ain't no
they're
days
hiring
off.
people on 90 days now.
Shit.
It's not like how it used to be.
Man,
I was kind of like the last class of all that shit. I got hired on in 15 months, and that's a lot better than, when I first actually tried to, because the old thinking was going there and making this $500-600 real quick, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do what I
go
do,
re-up.
But later down the road, now I got out, started working there, and I went online, and they gave me an opportunity to get hired on through Railcar. And so
you
I
on
went
the
over to
rail
Railcar,
cars.
and I learned a whole nother trade doing floors over there, and Matt Talbot, when I was in there, I was working there through my temp service. I was living at Matt Talbot, so I was also doing like the outpatient treatments and stuff like that. I was in there for 2 years, and I think I took a weekend pass one time, and you can take them like after the first month. I was there for 2 years. I only took probably like 1, maybe 2 week. The first one was because a big NA function was up in Omaha, so I got a motel room and stayed up there. Other than that, I came home every night. I didn't go out.
Business.
My rent was $20 a month.
Can't beat that.
I'd
be a fool.
I paid
Mhm.
all my back child support. My best friend, my female best friend, it was a platonic relationship. She was my ride. I keep gas in her car. Ask advice, she'd give it to me, you know. And first thing she said is, "Get that back child support paid off. Get your license
Yes,
back."
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You
Took
know,
me 8 fucking years to
stop
do it.
stop spending that money and pay that little 7,000-8,000 that you owe them, so you can go get your goddamn license back. You know. It was funny because she's like, because eventually I'm gonna have a boyfriend and he ain't gonna let this shit fly.
She sounds dope.
Yeah. But
Smart.
yeah, I mean, it was cool, and so I paid that off, and got my license and all that, and I graduated from the transition house. Right when I graduated and got my own place, because it was like one day. It was teetering on his release. It was towards the end of my tenure being there at the house, but we was kind of just like letting it, because I kind of I wasn't the house manager, but you wasn't coming in my house
Right.
with that bullshit
Right.
type of person.
Right,
And
right,
they
right.
knew it, they knew it, because I'm not, because the house manager, had to be home at a certain, I leave to go to work, I come home, I shower, I'll be back at 11 at curfew, but I'm going to my meetings every night. But I had a girlfriend, so I was at her crib a lot. We was getting ready to get our own place together. When I got out the house, still didn't spend the night at her house though. It was smart. It was a smart move. Discipline, I guess.
Damn sure.
I told
Yeah.
myself that I needed that discipline. For a minute. When I'm done with this situation I'm going through, then we can spend the night together. We can chill every day. We're going to be around each other all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sleep in the bed with you right now. When I got my situations and my son comes back, well, one day I'm at the house, thought we had like 2 months. So I was kind of looking. I got 7 felonies, man. It's hard for me to get a pad. I think I spent about $400 in renter applications.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't get a place. Like, I offered this one place. I said, bro, I'll give you 3 months and deposit right now. And they wouldn't. And then I went back. I spoke to a close friend of mine, and he said, "I'll co-sign for you, bro. You know what happens if you screw this up, right?" Yeah. And moved in that apartment, stayed there for 3 years. Then, completed my lease and did the month-to-month thing after that for a while. And then, unfortunate situation that happened, and my narcissistic ways drug me back into using. And but I was, mind you, I did a documentary for Matt Talbot Kitchen.
Yeah, that's where I saw your commercial.
I
I watched that.
They got a commercial about it, and I'm the person on it. I don't know if they still play it, but they played it a lot lately. I don't like it. I don't.
That
I
probably had been the first time I saw you since we was in and out doing our shit.
Man, that commercial. Man. I said, man. I like literally not even in Casey's sometimes. I was at a damn a show in Omaha. I think I went to see Caskey, and I went up there to see Caskey, and hey, it's Brian Green
From your commercial.
because it's on KLKN. So I was like, man, why don't you look? But if you guys are interested, that where that commercial came out of, it's actually like a 20-minute interview from me through Matt Talbot. You go on Facebook, put in Matt Talbot Kitchen Outreach / Brian Green, check it out. It's been up for quite some time. Yeah. It's crazy. They got another one that I found. It was like the initial interview that they had done, and it's all the interviews were done by this place called Grindstone Media, Landon Rhodes. Awesome.
Sounds familiar.
They do some. From what I heard, they do commercials for like Mercedes. I remember when we first did the shoot downtown, walked through the alley, he took a picture, and all I heard was dun 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 dun. That time when you never give up. Started hearing Eminem "Lose Yourself." Just how, and he looked at me, and I'm hearing this shit in my head, right? And he looked, he was like, "It looks like a rap video, don't it?" I was like, but that was a very interesting situation with me, and then actually seeing myself, and then like later down the road, just someone say, "You got a commercial?" I got a commercial, and actually, I have never watched live TV and it pop up. Everyone just tells me about it. I've seen it, but and then they
You didn't know they were gonna air it?
no, I didn't know about the. I signed, you sign a release, but I don't care. I don't care about all that release, man. If you can see something with me, with Brian Green in it, saying that I changed my life because of this place, and you can get in it, and it changes your life. I'm cool with it. I don't want nobody's money, If I need help, I'll call you. I don't. You gave me my. People say you get paid for it. No, and I don't want no monetary gain from it.
It's real life, right
I
here.
do not want no donate. You want to give some money? Donate to MattTalbot.org.
So Matt Talbot, everybody gets this same treatment that goes through this program. So this place is I got to get familiar with this place.
It's they saved my life. If they wouldn't have put me in that house that summer, they probably would have found me in an alley dead down here in Lincoln. Because I was something else. So, but the second time when because I had relapsed after a breakup, and they sent my son to prison and stuff pretty much lost everything again, but my job. I went to work every day, every day, and I still had that 401k. So I knew how to keep my head above water a little bit still.
Yeah.
And I guess I was a dope fiend with rules. I didn't lose my job, and then here later he gave me a lot of that fentanyl now.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
It's in everything now, and it kind of I couldn't quit. I could used to quit for 2 or 3 months. Get everybody off my ass for a little bit. I quit for a couple months, and then I didn't go off the deep end like I did last time. I'm scared. I ain't gonna lie. I was scared about it. I didn't want to lose. I don't want to lose everything. I don't want to lose my nice ass truck. I don't want to lose my. I make 30-some thousand. I don't want to lose that job.
That's interesting. I kind of just said something like that the other day. I'm like, man, I'm scared. And they were like, you, Demond, you scared? Fuck yeah. I think back on myself, dog, and the shit that I did, and it was like, I don't know where I got that heart.
I don't want to lose that. No, I knew where I had it. I was ignorant back then. But,
I don't know where I got that
I didn't
heart
have
from.
nothing. But I sit back and I look, and it's not even also that. It's also because of the commercial, the documentaries. I remember the day I relapsed. I sat at home and I said, I'm a piece of shit. I hate myself for this one. I said, this one, I did this one myself.
Romans 7:14.
Yeah.
I hate what I do. I'm good at everything bad and everything good.
Yeah.
It's just the opposite.
I mean, but
I got that shit tatted. Romans 7:14.
I fought with it for 2 years, and just one day I was I met a fantastic woman, fantastic woman. She's gonna be my wife. And she never knew the sober me. And mind you, it was because I was getting high for about a year before I met her, and I still had a job. I know how to pay bills. You know? My checks ain't little. My checks ain't little. I do pretty good at my gigs. So and if they ask me to work, I'm there. That's one thing I say. I'm not losing this job. My job was my sanctuary. I go there and I could erase everything in my head. And it didn't matter. And that's probably why they kept me, is because I did a good job. So and just one night I was laying in the bed and I rolled over and I looked at my girl, and see, back then I didn't have what I got now. So I said, I think I'm going to go to treatment. She said, really? I said, you ready for me to be gone for about a month? She said, yeah. I went and filed my FLMA, called my insurance company, called Valley Hope. I was up there a week later.
That's awesome, man.
And this is without a relapse.
No, I was.
You just felt like
2 years.
You just felt like
I was ready.
You needed it.
I was ready.
Man, I salute you for that shit, bro. I remember.
Yeah,
I kind of
awesome.
went through that with you. You was posting that, and I was like, and I was giving you love on that shit.
I just,
So I was like, damn, it doesn't sound like a homie relapse. So I'm like, damn,
no, I was out there.
was
I
just-
just
you was
wasn't.
going
I
through
didn't
it.
take it to that super level that I was at before.
okay.
I got too much to lose, And
Right.
I got a lot of people out here that watch me.
I gotta check myself.
I got a lot of people that look up to me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Got a lot of people that say I inspire them.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. Straight up.
You know, a
Straight
lot
up.
of people tell me that. I think after, I don't toot my own horn too much, but when I get a guy that comes up to me that's really never been cool with me, and he said I inspired him to get off drugs, and he went to treatment. You know, so I mean,
Yeah.
and I've heard it a couple times. Even when I was getting high, though, I could talk people into going to treatment. I don't know what the hell it was. I'd sit there and they'd say something about they want to get off it. I said, well, what are you doing? Get off it then. Why don't you get off it? I don't want to. Why don't you get off it? Go to treatment. Shut up. Go get a job. You know, I'd say shit like that to him. You know, I ain't no better than you, but go get a job. You know, it is what it is. You know, you know, I don't know. Each one teach one, I guess. But and I'm still, you know, I've only been clean for like 90 days this time. When I went up to treatment, I kind of like every night it's that being secluded and just like being in my head and even scrolling Facebook and acting an ass like I do. But and there was actually a time where they banned me for like, I got banned for a month because I was acting crazy, and I got off for like a day and I got banned for a month. The next time I think I lasted like maybe like 2.5 days, and they banned me for another one. I got to cool out on this motherfucker. Man, they gonna
Watching your ass.
and I don't want to spend the energy in getting a new page or starting a new
That
page.
motherfucker Facebook, boy. He swears the police on that motherfucker sometimes.
I've done pretty good. I've done pretty good putting it down. But during a lot of this time, I started making music, not rapping, but more production. I got a pretty good sound. I entered into a contest up in Omaha, and I didn't do too bad.
Nice, man.
Not being known. I've been involved with a lot of guys with hip hop music. You know,
Why not rapping no more? Any reason for that?
I'm 46 years old.
I can dig it.
You know, it's just, you know, 46 years old. I mean, I don't get it twisted. Don't ever. Hey, and I make my own beats too, so it's gonna sound exactly the way I want it to sound. You know, so and but I did what I invested, and like I said, I had the 401k, and when I took out, I think I took out like 4,000. I fixed my car, I paid up some bills, and then and I put 1,000 into my studio. And when I did that, then because I got damn near a whole music studio, you know, in my basement, you know, and I just play with the computer to make the beats and stuff. But I can do anything they can do. I just, you know, I don't want nobody in my house. So
Right. First,
no one in my house.
First,
You know what I mean?
I'll send you that.
I'll send you an email. You know?
I'll send it to you.
And I'm
motherfucker.
kind of like, you know, I gotta get that Cash App before I email you anything, bro. What do you mean? Well, I mean, it's gonna cost you about $150. I can get it for $20. Yeah, but 150,000 other people got it for $20. That's not. That's what they call leased beat. I don't sell leased. I sell exclusive. One in one. I give you the file, and then I delete that shit out my computer because I need the room. You know, so you get the one-on-one. So pay me $150.
You got the page up? Is there anybody
No
where
page,
we can find you yet?
No page. Recovery.
We'll look forward to that.
I got to get out of the black right now because you know, treatment costed a little bit of money, so I gotta bills first. You know, so I've been looking at it. You know, things been running through my head a little bit. I've been looking at it and getting some ideas, but I'm not really. It's one of them things I can sit down. You know, so. But when it does come up, trust me, if you know me on Facebook, Brian Green, Facebook, me and my girl on it.
We'll plug it too, man.
Yeah, I got an Instagram page. It's Phrases the Most 402.
There you go.
I got a TikTok, but I don't be on it too much.
Yeah, TikTok's hard.
It's kind of
I
cool.
don't
I'm
understand
looking
it.
at recipes.
I think we could do good. I think we do good on TikTok.
You
if
think?
we tried.
I think you could push that.
Well, yeah.
Actually.
I'm saying like far as like me personally, my personal shit.
That and Reels, you probably do. That Reels is a pretty good avenue too on social media.
Yeah, man. I mean, we gotta get better at doing that.
Yeah.
I was doing that when I didn't have shit to do at work.
Right.
I had a lot more time, honestly. But yeah, we gotta be better about posting clips and stuff. But yeah, I mean, we're about out of time, man. That was an easy episode for me. I got to listen to it.
My whole thing about it is just you gotta just stop making excuses and go get it for yourself. I got 7 felonies. You know, I got theft, drugs, and violence. You know, and I can get a job. I got a GED.
Yeah, that's the clip.
You know, it's you
That's the
want to
clip.
get out. It's the lifestyle. It's going back on the porch. You know, and I talked. My son is 21 years old. He runs with the new cats. You know, with the same last names that we grew up with. You know,
Right.
our kids. You know, our kids are hanging out. You know, so and you know, we still grab. Oh yeah, I know your uncle, man. You know, and talking and put that game in their ear.
We there now.
You know, put that game in their ear. We're yeah.
We the big homies now.
We're what's his name? Grandpa Ribs owner. We're Terry Rupert. We telling these young bucks, you know, how you can make it. You know, you can't knock Terry, man. Come on, man.
No.
That's Grandpa, and then, you know, no one did it like Terry Rupert out here.
No.
You know, that's our legend. One of our legends.
Millionaire.
Yeah.
Left here a millionaire.
Yeah.
Probably.
So
Yeah.
if you from the north side, you know who
You know.
know Terry Rupert. You know,
Yeah,
so.
man. We appreciate you sharing your story with
Yeah,
us.
man, it's nice to meet you. Nice to hear what you had to say. Dude, we'll have to have you on again, man.
Thank
Yeah, we definitely will.
Yeah,
definitely
seems
will.
like you got more to
I
say.
do dabble in the music thing, so I was kind of maybe thinking on taking me another artist for management now. So
Yeah, you'll have to bring something back when we invite you
Yeah.
back next time.
so, but kind of tag.
Go
Yeah,
ahead,
yeah,
brother.
plug
Yeah,
whatever you
most
gotta
You
plug,
guys
man.
check out Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach. They have links on their pages for donation. Please help. You know, it is, you know, the outreach program. They help people with medicine plus feeding the community. And during them hot days, you know, them air conditioning bills ain't cheap in that building. And they let people come in there, sit with coffee and also with the programs they do offer for substance, mental health, and just all out homelessness. The mission also, I don't really know too much about them system. I don't have nothing negative to say about the mission. I'm pretty sure they have just as many medical and stuff they can do for you too. So we have plenty of avenues if you're out here struggling.
Yeah, it sounds like they go above and beyond over at Matt Talbot.
Yeah,
If you're from Lincoln, Nebraska, and you go hungry, you're doing something wrong. You know, so and yeah, I appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
letting me
cool, man. Thanks again for coming. Check us out on all our socials. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on TikTok lightly. We'll try to be better about it. I don't know. I say that all the time, but it's like it just takes so much time to just make content, man.
Time control.
We gotta be better.
What
about
you
it,
do
man.
is you just take clips of the video, just clip here, clip there.
Yeah, that's what-
gems in the video and clip it and throw
Yeah,
it in the
that's
reel.
that's what I used to sit at work and I would just watch the video on YouTube and screen record, and then I would just clip it up on my phone and then throw it up.
Make your little buzzes and put.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah,
just-
I used to be better about it. It's just like
Hey,
I'm just
look,
lazy, man.
look,
It's-
I
Like, I'm
look at
lazy.
social media, man. That's I mean, it's all like Charleston White. I mean, that dude.
Shout out Charleston White.
Oh my God, man. Woo.
Bruh's getting a bad rap right.
I don't, man. Look,
I
man,
don't agree with everything.
I don't
but
agree
shout
with
out
everything, but
Charleston White,
he
man.
speaks. You know, he's a genius.
Shout
know,
out
so-
Charleston White.
But the social media, man, that's the perfect. You know, it's perfect for these podcasts. Throw it up,
Yeah,
get on
I
them
know.
reels.
we had that TikTok, the 50 Cent one,
yeah,
where everybody thought we were talking shit about 50.
Yeah.
That's at like 50,000 views or something.
like 60.
I still be getting comments and likes and stuff on that.
Yeah, they don't know about the
Yeah,
real 50.
Yeah,
man.
yeah, we
These
should post
youngsters
more.
don't know about the real 50.
Post more. All right, well, anyway, thanks again, Brian.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. We hope you guys have a great week.
Holla.